Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so let's go. Thank you for this opportunity to present our research called Negative Citing Scenario Analysis of Inaccurate Evaluation of Scientific Content by Alina Petrushka and Maria Komova from Lviv Polytechnic National University. For today, I think that our scientific area, in our scientific activity, we can't imagine our life without different scientometric indicators, different approaches to evaluate our activity, impact of scientific journals, scientific content at all. So today we have actually two monopolist scientometric databases such as Scopus and Web of Science, which use in their functioning traditional metrics, which are based on the identifications, identifying and accounting of publications and their citations. But for today, many scientists in the field of bibliometrics, scientometrics, says that such traditional approaches have a different accuracy, different dismisses, so it actualizes the scientific problem to improve traditional approaches to evaluate scientific content. So purpose of our study is to conduct a scenario analysis of the realization of methodological risk of negative citing when we use traditional metrics for evaluation of scientific content. As I said, recent research a lot talks about different dismisses. For today, we have to talk about citation in different kind. We have to look at citation in different kind and to improve tools to identify it and to account it. So at this slide, you can see an analytical presentation of scenario analysis of the basic citation scheme, which used in traditional metrics to evaluate scientific content. In this next slide, in this figure, you can see the graphical presentation of this scheme. Basic citation analysis considers citation as a fact of realization of a scientific communication between author of publication primary source and authors of citation, which are represented in publication secondary sources. So after such communication appears sets of links, citation, yes, and we account those citations, and the power sets of those citations, sorry, determines the evaluation of impact of individual researcher or impact of scientific journal. But obvious that this process is idealized because in the basic citation analysis doesn't take into account the variation of realization of scientific communication. And for example, it doesn't take into account negative citation when appears when author of citation gives a negative response to a cited publication. So to increase the objectivity of evaluation of scientific content, we to move to the variative component of citation analysis. So the variative variative citation analysis we propose to conduct in 3 steps. At first step, we have to identify and to account citation with a negative response. In second step, we have to indicate those negative citation. For this purpose, we propose a coefficient of negative citings, which is a ratio of number of citation with a negative response to the total number of citations. Obvious that this coefficient vary from 0 to 1, and it is the greater is the number of negative citations. To identify those negative citations, we propose to use automated sentiment analysis, which can use to analyze not only a references list, which we do in traditional way, but analyze the contextual field of citation directly in the full text secondary sources. And the third stage of the citation analysis is a verification of negative citing. It can be conducted with expert assessment, first of all, of the fact of negative citing, and first of all, of the nature of this negative citing, of the reasons of the negative response. At this slide, you can see the analytical presentation of the variative citation analysis, which takes into account the risk of negative citing. In this case, we propose to use in evaluation process not total number of citation, but only those citations which have a positive or neutral response. At this figure, you can see the graphical presentation, and all these results are in a developed algorithm for the implementation of variative citation analysis, which can be implemented in the functioning of automated systems of accounting of citations, maybe in Scopus someday, or Web of Science. Our conclusions. For today, we propose a theoretical method of variative citation analysis, and it was developed to identify the risk of negative citation when we evaluating the quality of scientific content. To use this variative citation analysis, the use of this method will allow to increase the objectivity of evaluation. Individual researcher or scientific journal, scientific content at all, based on the result of the study, the algorithm for the implementation of variation citation analysis was developed. As I said, it can be implemented as a tool of modern bibliometric systems for identification and accounting of citation. And at this stage, the method is theoretical, and it's required the further development and at the empirical level, first of all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Alina. Very interesting. So if I correct understood, you did not do any experiments, yes? It's only theoretical method.
Yes, for today, we did not, but it's in our future. I think that it is a future of this research.
Where you can take data for your experiments?
Well, first of all, I think that we can implement it with our scientometric databases, Scopus and Web of Science. Also, we can use alternative resources such as specialized social networks for scientists, such as ResearchGate, which gives us data with recommendations or comments about different research. Yes, in not formal way, not only as citations.
Yes, yes, because if you want to realize your algorithm with a sentiment analysis, you need to process real data.
Yes, we have to process full text source.
Yes, so it's not scientific paper, it's a forum, charts, etc., comments in social network. So because this text contains a lot of emotions about some research. But it's really interesting. Thank you. Maybe some participants also have questions to Alina.
I have one little question for Alina. You said that you will provide your system in the modern bibliometric system. To what system are you going to provide? Maybe you have a research about this system, because it is really hard to.
It was my controversial thesis. I believe that maybe one day specialists of modern scientometric databases will be interested in such approaches, because well, for my opinion, from today we have not much alternatives. Yes, for today modern research develops in two parallel worlds: traditional metrics and alternative metrics. Our monopolist Scopus and Web of Science try to use different alternative approaches, but for today we have only H-index, we have only cumulative citation index, and it is this sphere does not develop in practically. There are many research which propose alternative approaches, but it does not have their implementation in practical. So I believe that one day maybe it will. Our research, it will.
Thank you. So our subsection is finished, and now we have short, very short coffee break, 3 minutes, and start the last part of our section. Okay? So see you.
Thank you very much.